Welcome to another episode of Bish's Breakdown. We're going to talk SmackDown. We're going to talk Raw. We're going to talk World Cup. We're going to talk Night of Champions predictions. We're going to talk about a big blockbuster trade in the NBA that happened this morning at 12 midnight. So all that and more on Bishop's Breakdown, episode 34. So tune in and get hype because we're going to break it down for you. Let's go. Hey everyone, it's Bishop. I got something special for you today. On the next bonus episode, I'm breaking down the top 4 teams in college basketball, giving you my insider's take and predictions you won't hear anywhere else. Plus, I'll dive into Vince Russo and John Cena's AEW talk and why he's crazy. No fluff, just straight analysis. This episode is exclusive to my Patreon supporters. For just a few bucks a month, you got bonus episodes like this, exclusive merch, and even a chance to ask me questions directly on a live Q&A session. So if you want in, join the crew now. The link will be in the description, and I'd love to have you on board and make sure you never miss the inside scoop. So break that down. So Friday Night SmackDown started with the WWE Championship match. Cody Rhodes defending his title against the ring general himself, Gunther, with special guest referee Sami Zayn. And the match went exactly how I thought it was going to go. It started off Sami Zayn cutting it right down the middle, not showing any bias because, he has issues with Cody Rhodes. But that broke down when Gunther didn't feel like Sami was helping him win. So Sami slapped the crap out of him. And Gunther retaliated by giving him a powerbomb, taking him out of the equation. And another ref comes in. Gunther's about to win the title, and Sami pulls him out of the ring. Gunther gets mad. He gets rolled up by Cody Rhodes, a fast, like super fast 3 count. And Cody Rhodes retains. Cut back to the back. They're in gorilla position. They're all yelling at each other. Sami's yelling at Gunther. You got Nick Aldis trying to figure out what's going on. They're fighting. Cody Rhodes in the ring said, let's restart this match. Nick Aldis tells Gunther's trying to get him to restart the match too, and they said restart the match. They go out there. They do their little thing for feels like 30 seconds, and Sami comes in and Huluva kicks the crap out of Gunther. Disqualification, match over. Cut back to the back again, and Gunther's upset. Nick Aldis is yelling at Sami about the fast 3 count, and basically it all turns around that they're gonna have a triple threat at Night of Champions. So you got Cody Rhodes, you got the ring general Gunther, and you got Sami Zayn, the last good guy for the WWE Undisputed Championship in Saudi Arabia. But I'm going to get to my predictions for Night of Champions in a little bit. And then you got this MFT turmoil because the OTC himself is sending Jacob Fatu to SmackDown to get Solo to come back to the family. And Tala Tonga and Tama Tonga are like, you clearly not in the right headspace, so stay in the back when we had this title match. And obviously Solo ain't. So he comes out and they end up losing and then they walk away. So I don't know if they're going to break them up and Solo's going to end up back with the bloodline, or it's just some crap that's going down. They're going to squash the beef because rumor has it they're going to do war games with MFTs versus, Bloodline 6.0. Whatever it is at this point. And sure, I mean, honestly, if they break Solo away from the MFTs, I have no idea what Tala Tonga and Tama Tonga, they might be on the way out, because without the MFTs, I don't know what they're going to do with them. The way they position them, they're just not it. They're just not those guys. So I don't know what WWE is going to do if they do end up breaking these team up. But SmackDown is just stagnant. It's just, ugh. Like the main event was Charlotte Flair versus Liv Morgan in semifinals. The winner goes on to the finals to face Io Sky and Night of Champions. And they did a little thing in the back where, she's trying to walk to the ring, and Jade Cargill and her baddies basically jump her and bust up her knee, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out there anyway." And they're like, "Are you sure? I don't know if you're gonna be medical." Blah 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 blah. And so that was the crux of the match, and Liv capitalized on that, and she won the match. But it seems like that's what they did with Javon Evans and Jey Uso with Braun Breaker spearing him, so he had tape around his waist, and his ribs are all hurt, so they use that as a crux because they can't beat nobody, so they always have to give an excuse why the babyface is losing. So they always give him a way out. Oh, he was hurt. If he wasn't hurt, he would have won. Sure, whatever. But hopefully July 3rd is when they're going back to 2 hours. And if they do that, I think SmackDown should be a better show. They don't have as much filler to fill the time. They don't have that extra hour where they're just putting on BS, because SmackDown is just boring. And it just sucks. And it just sucks the life out of the room, and you just feel defeated after you watch this episode of SmackDown. Raw not saying Raw is a better show, but at least the time goes by a little bit quicker when you don't have to deal with stuff like that. But here's Night of Champions prediction. And crazy thing is about Night of Champions, there's 6 total matches, but only 3 of them are title matches on a show called Night of Champions. Back in the day, every title was defended at Night of Champions. Now only 3 titles: the U.S. Women's title, the WWE Championship, and the U.S. Men's title. That's it. No tag team championships for either brands. No women's titles from either brands. No World Heavyweight Championship match. It's just 3 matches are titles and 3 non-titles. They should, I don't know. I don't know. Like, why call it Night of Champions? They should have renamed it to the King of the Ring Finals and then just have all the matches, and it would made more sense than having Night of Champions with not all the champions defending. But let's get to it. The U.S. Women's title match, you got Tiffany Stratton defending her title against Jade Cargill. My pick is Tiffany. My reasoning is Charlotte has a receipt to give to Jade, and she's going to cost her that match. And they're going to have their match, Jade versus Charlotte Flair, at SummerSlam, either night 1 or night 2. Then you got Seth Rollins facing Braun Breaker in a steel cage. My pick is Seth Rollins. He has a higher ceiling of what they're going to do. Clearly, he's going to be in a high-profile match at SummerSlam, and I don't know what they're doing with the Vision at this point. Maybe Bronson Reed comes back and helps Braun Breaker win, but I think they're building towards possibly Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship. Then you got Oba Femi in the finals versus Jey Uso. My pick is Oba Femi, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if Jey Uso gets the victory because of some shenanigans, either Brock Lesnar or some of the bloodline, or LA Knight tries to interfere and it turns on him or something, and Oba loses and Jey Uso picks up the fluke victory. Then you got the women's finals. You got Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. My pick is Io Sky to be Queen of the Ring. But wouldn't shock me if they do something dumb and have Liv Morgan win that and challenge Rhea or something and try to unify the title, which would be stupid and dumb. And they can't even do what they need to do with the titles that they got. So it just don't make no sense. I I feel that Stephanie Vakir is going to show up in Saudi and interfere and cost Liv the match, or one of her Judgment Day Raquel Rodriguez will do something that costs Liv the title, and then they have even more beef, and maybe I don't know. But that's what I don't see Liv Morgan winning that. Then you got Trick Williams defending his United States Championship against Ricky Saints. I picked Trick Williams is going to win, but don't be shocked if Carmelo Hayes interferes and there's a disqualification and they're set up for a triple threat at SummerSlam, or he accidentally calls Ricky Saints the match and Trick wins and there's beef in the back and they set up a triple threat. I still think no matter what happens, there's going to be a triple threat between Trick Williams, Ricky Saints, and Carmelo Hayes at SummerSlam. And then your main event is Cody Rhodes versus Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the WWE Undisputed Championship. My pick for this, which is a crazy pick, but I would rather see Cody Rhodes chasing the title than holding the title at this point. And Gunther, his aura has been cut down a notch. Now he just seems like a whiny little heel, always going to my lawyers or doing all these things that people don't care about. So give the title to Sami Zayn. Might as well. He deserves it. And it'll be very interesting what they do going forward with Sami as the champion. Being chased after by the likes of the Cody Rhodes and the Gunthers, and maybe when Kevin Owens come back. So Sami Zayn, your new WWE Undisputed Champion. So that's my Night of Champions. Again, it shouldn't be called Night. It should be called Night of Wrestling, because it's not Night of Champions. If you don't have all your champions defending, then it's not Night of Champions. So that's my thoughts on that. So after the break, we're going to talk World Cup and that blockbuster trade that happened in the NBA, and some crazy news that came out of Ann Arbor and the Michigan Wolverines basketball team. This episode is brought to you by W Energy, the clean energy drink mix built for gamers, creators, and grinders like us. No jitters, no crash, no artificial dyes, just smooth, long-lasting focus whenever I'm breaking down WWE storylines, debating NBA, or just recording late at night. It's zero sugars, packed with vitamins and nutrients, and it actually keeps you locked in without the shaky feeling. Head to w.gg and use code Bishop's Breakdown at checkout and save 10%. So level up your energy and let's get back to the breakdown. And thanks for supporting the show. Yeah, that was cool, huh? But we're back. Welcome back to, World Cup time. The United States, Team USA, is in the knockout rounds. Never know. This might be the year that Team USA finally takes that step and maybe win a World Cup. It might not happen because there's way too many great teams like Spain, France, Argentina, England. Rumor has it the July 4th matchup for Team USA will be a rematch, because this is America's birthday, so a rematch with England. That would be the game to see. But I'm going to tell you this. Lionel Messi did it again. Another multi-goal game. And he could have had 3. He could have had another hat trick, but he missed the penalty kick, which he's guaranteed normally on those things. But he flubbed the bet on that one, but he made up for it real big. And now he has 17 World Cup goals in his career, which most ever. But back to this GOAT conversation. What else does he have to do? I know a lot of people I see in the comments talking about Ronaldo, he's that guy. But when he's on the biggest stage which is the World Cup. There's nothing bigger in football than the World Cup. And guess how many goals he has in the World Cup? Yes, 8. 8 goals. But he never scored any goals in the knockout rounds in his career so far. So if his team can get into the knockout round, he scored goals, then he's finally done something he hasn't done his whole entire career. And it just always seemed to be a little beef happening in his team locker room, because they'd be asking him, well, so you're going to give him the ball? You're going to give him the ball? And it was like, nah, we ain't going to purposely try to get him the ball. So if he's the best player in the world, he's the best player on your team. So it'd be like them saying, oh, we're not trying to give Michael Jordan, we're not trying to give Kobe Bryant, we're not trying to get LeBron James the ball, we're not trying to get him involved in the offense. That's just ridiculous. No, ain't no teammates going to say that crap. Not in public. So I'm just saying. And then Mbappe, young dude, France, superstar, GOAT in training. And he was not to be outdone by Messi. So later that night, he scored 2 more. So now he has 16 goals in World Cup in his career in only 16 games. And that's impressive. So he's only 2 back from tying Messi in the same exact World Cup that Messi is just on a tear. So right now, it's between him, Mbappe, and Lionel Messi as the Golden Boot winner this year. I don't see how it's anybody else. Maybe Haaland, but that's only if Messi and Mbappe fall off. And I don't see them falling off, because it seems like they're going back and forth like Magic and Bird or any Shaq and Kobe. Like they're just competition, like not direct competition, but they're like going back and forth. But France is going to have a test, because they got to play Norway and that's Holland. And Holland did his thing last night as well. 2 goals in like minutes of each other in the second half of the game, where it looked like they had the key to stop him, but he was like, nah, bro, with his blonde hair flowing in the wind, he's like, nah, I got this. And he did that. And that's why the World Cup is so exciting. Like, I am super stoked to just sit down and watch these games, because even when they start off little, all of a sudden out of nowhere, boom, goal, boom, stop, boom, like this World Cup has been real good from start to finish, and it's only going to get better. So we got some somber news coming out of Ann Arbor. Dusty May, now the former head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, has taken his services to the NBA and decided that he wants to be head coach of the Dallas Mavericks with their superstar Cooper Flag. Good for him. He gave us a natty, and that's never going to change. It's not like we lose the natty because we lost our coach. That's not how it works. It's just, according to Vegas, Michigan's natty title chances went from plus 750 before he left. Now with him being gone and going to Dallas, now it's a plus 1,200, with the favorites now being Duke and Florida. So we got a lot of work to do. Not really sure who's out there that would fit the same DNA, the same, what they were doing last year going forward to keep the momentum the same. But I have faith that no matter who they hire, they're going to do big things. Maybe not a natty title right off the rip, because it's going to be a lot of growing pains. It usually is. Hopefully we won't get a guy that's a stinker and just comes in and tears up this team, and his team just doesn't play for this man, and Michigan Wolverines is just bottom feeding again, because I don't want to see that either. I'm hoping for the best, but we'll see in the coming weeks, coming months, of who they're going to bring in to take the place of the great Dusty May. So thanks for the World title. Thanks for the Natty title. Thanks for the memories we had. The parade in Ann Arbor. All these years of obscurity, and now we're champions. And thank you. And nothing for the best. It's going to be hard out there in Dallas. I know you got one of the best young players in the league, but you in the West, and the West is top heavy as MF. So, you got a lot of work ahead of you. You don't have Anthony Davis. I don't know what's going on with Kyrie, but I'm sure if these players listen to you and see what you did with young players from all over the nation, and you put them together and brought a national championship to Ann Arbor, a playoff spot is not out of the question. Not out of the question. Because Cooper Flagg is that guy. He will be that guy. He will be the future, maybe that, yeah, you know what? I'm going to say it. He's a future MVP in this league. So, you got that going for you, my good sir. So, speaking of NBA, a big blockbuster trade happened. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis traded from the Bucks to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Kellen Warr, and Jamie Jaquez Jr. Then they got, 13th pick in this year's draft, which is Thursday, the 2031 and 2033 first round. They also got the 2030 first round pick swap and the 2033 second round. So right now, the Heat's tentative lineup, which doesn't holler championship material to me, but crazier things have happened. Look at the Cleveland Cavs, LeBron's teams that he took to the finals. So you got Davion Mitchell, point guard, Norman Powell, shooting guard, small forwards, Andrew Wiggins. Then you got Giannis Antetokounmpo as power forward, and then your center is Bam Adebayo. I mean, that's a crazy defensive backcourt and their front court. Wow. And it's going to be insane. I mean, me personally, I know why it didn't happen. But me personally, I think it better fit for Giannis would have been the Boston Celtics. Even getting rid of Jaylen Brown and trading Jaylen Brown to the Bucks, you had Jason Tatum, you had Derek White, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo, you still got Al Horford. I think that would have been a better fit for him, but I'm sure Boston Celtics didn't want to give up that many draft picks and that many players. I mean, the Bucks only gave up 2 players. Granted, one is MVP, not even caliber, but he won MVP, and they needed a lot to rebuild over there. And speaking of that rebuild, I would not be surprised if Tyler Hero's just trade fodder to get more draft picks. Because if you're going to go all the way, you might as well go all the way and rebuild from the ground up. And maybe you'll be lucky enough to find another similar Giannis Antetokounmpo in the draft and be able to build him up just the way you did the original Giannis Antetokounmpo. But right now on paper, that Heat team right now ain't even the top 5 in the Eastern Conference. I know Giannis is that guy, and he can change games because he's so big and strong. And Bam, he did drop, that 83 points. But let's be real. You still got the Celtics over there. You still got the NBA champions, the New York Knicks, the Pistons, the Cavs. So like there are still teams that are there that are still good, and they only gonna get better. They're gonna trade for people. The draft is gonna add some parts to these teams. So I don't think the Heat's done what they were doing. because they're trying to win now. And it's a shame that they had to get rid of Tyler Hero, because I like him as a scorer for the Heat, but you had to give up somebody, and they weren't giving up Bam. So it was Tyler or nobody. And I guarantee if they gave up nobodies for Giannis, the Milwaukee would have said no and gave it to Boston. So they had to do what they had to do, and it's good on them to be able to keep Bam, because I think Bam with Giannis is going to be a Twin Towers type of thing, because they both can, Giannis can shoot. He's a lot better shooter in the last couple years than he was his first few years. He's getting better on free throws. I think he's going to play with more urgency to get back to the NBA championships, because people, they don't remember what you used to do. They always talking about what have you done for us lately, and Giannis sees the talk, and he's still good. He's a freak, Greek freak for a reason. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA. So I hope he thrives in Miami, but we'll see if this trade was worth it for the Heat, because they had to give up a lot for Giannis. And I know why the Bucks did it, because he was going to leave anyway. To at least get something for him now, instead of, hoping that he stays and wins titles or something. And when you lose them, you got nothing. And sometimes in a divorce, you want to get half the money. You want to get something out of the deal. You don't want to just feel like you wasted all these years on somebody and at the end of the day end up with nothing. But that's the show this week. I can't wait for the draft on Thursday. I'm going to cover the lottery picks and tell you what they do. Let's see where Boozer goes. I'm thinking the 4th or 5th draft pick he's going to be, but we'll know more on Thursday. So stay tuned to YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for the notification. Follow the show on Spotify, Apple Music, all the things. If you want to hit me up on X, Bishop's Breakdown, or on Facebook, Instagram, all the things. So don't forget, your boy got you, and I'll let you know, and keep it tuned to this channel, and I'll let you know when crazy things in the world of sports happens. I'm your host, Bishop, and this is Bishop's Breakdown, episode 34. And like a great man once said, deuces. Ooses. And I'm out.